Now to God, who is able to do exceeding abundantly, above all we can ever ask or imagine, according to His power at work within us. These signs shall follow those who believe. In my name shall they cast out devils. They will speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick, and they shall recover. This is the story and testimony of touching lives at Christmas. Now, going over to the beginning story of how touching lives at Christmas began at Ladabu village, Ilorin in Kwara State. Sometimes in September 2001, the international director of the Kingdom Project, Pastor Olushola Adebayo, was on a trip to Okemi community with some other brethren for a follow-up activity. Little did he know that a mighty vision was about to be birthed. According to divine providence, everything was orchestrated according to God's plan.
Our first contact with this community was in September year 2001. Around that period, we were carrying out a follow-up and some discipleship efforts in a neighboring community called Okemi. The year before, the Lord enabled us in a cooperative effort between the Kingdom Project, NCCMDS, and a church in Ilorin City. We carried out an outreach in Okemi, and we were doing follow-up. So in the year 2001, I missed a prof who used to come to pick me up, and we go to Okemi together. As I was waiting for him, it was over 1 hour waiting, when I heard the voice of the Lord, I will do a new thing. My mind was at rest that something was to come up that day. After waiting for about 1 hour 30 minutes, I stopped the next commercial vehicle that came, and I was heading towards the place we used to go for the follow-up. But on getting to a village called Budoafa, I heard the Lord saying, come down here. As soon as I came down, my attention was pointed to the signboard that says, this way to Ladabu. I entered the road. Over 1 kilometer, I got to Ladabu community. It was Sunday morning. The whole village was deserted. The elderly people had gone to the farm. And as I walked around this village, I met this middle-aged man sitting alone, thinking about life. Watching him closely, I discovered that the legs were swollen, the man was sick. So I greeted him. And I told him that I came from the city of Ilorin with a message for you. He asked me, do you know me before? I said, I don't know you before, but God who sent me to you knows you. Do you want to hear the message? The message is from God, your creator. He said, wow, please have your seat. So I began to give him the message about God, about salvation, about the love of God. And eventually, I concluded the message and asked him, so I'm returning back to Ilorin. What do I tell the one that sent me? Are you ready to accept him or not? If you are accepting him, this is the implication. To the glory of God, the man surrendered his life to Jesus Christ that very Sunday morning. And I promised him that by the grace of God, tomorrow, Monday, 5 p.m., I'm coming back with another person to come and tell you more about this decision you have made. So the following day on Monday, I was back here. Meanwhile, the man had told his friend who was a blind man that somebody came, this is what he told me, and he said by 5 p.m. he would be here. So it was exciting meeting this convert of yesterday with his friend, the blind man. They had gathered their families together. So we taught the whole family the way of the Lord. And we left, promising them that the following Sunday, we will be here. We returned the following Sunday, more people had joined them. We had a beautiful time, and it occurred to us, what are you waiting for? This is a church. A church has started. What are you waiting for? That was how the church started here. And that was just a few months to the beginning of Touching Lives at Christmas, the very first edition. So naturally, when we were thinking of where should we cover, few months, few weeks to the very first edition of Touching Lives at Christmas, Ladabu came to mind.
More than 80 believers came around to witness Jesus through TLC in these communities, including the surrounding villages, Budo Alpha, Budo Isale, Zaki, and many more. That was 19 years ago.
In the afternoon, we returned back here for what we call Brethren Forum. And it's exciting that after ministering to the villagers, sharing our food with them, there used to be a tree here. We came and stayed under the tree, and brethren ate their food. We did Bible study. I still remember with nostalgia the topic of the final charge, the biblical way of handling your tomorrow. It was exciting.
How God wants me to handle my tomorrow. Sing it loud. How God wants me to handle.
Around 6:30 p.m., we rounded off the outreach. We began to return back to Ilorin. 19 years after, we bless the name of the Lord. Disciples have been raised here. The church of God is marching on. God is being glorified in the community. A place that used to be totally dark, the light of God has penetrated the community. To God be glory.
That man, Pajimo Ishola, was the first fruit of TLC in 2001, and the church established was the first church ever that witnessed and enjoyed TLC. Fortunately, when this interview was conducted, Pajimo Ishola was still alive and fervent in the Lord Jesus. 19 years ago, what an overwhelming reunion. The man and his household.
Till
today, I thank God. I really thank Jesus. I'm so grateful to Jesus because he has never left me. I also want to appreciate the church. They never left me for one moment. It is the Lord that establishes his work. About 19 years ago, we were very small in number in this community. But today, there are many people that have joined the church, the Zuru people. So we thank God. We thank God.
Little did we know that our simple act of obedience to the Lord yields more sons to the kingdom, evicting darkness from men's heart and from the community. Today, the church at Ladabu village is the first experience of TLC ever, thriving for over 19 years. Glory to Jesus.
I'm inviting you to be part of this global movement of God's envoy in kingdom advancement. You also can discover your ministry through Touching Life at Christmas. You can participate in this outreach. You can be part of the outreach planning team in your location. You can pioneer the outreach in that location of yours where you are and the outreach has not taken place. You can be part of the follow-up of the converts, which in most cases takes place on a monthly basis in some of the centers. You can support this outreach financially, and you can also pray for the success of this global movement of kingdom advancement. TLC is a platform, and we invite you to come and discover your place in this platform.
From this short documentary you have watched, you will agree with the word of God that says in Romans chapter 5 verse 19, that by the obedience of one, many shall be made righteous. Through the obedience of some believers, to the glory of God, many in many rural areas are becoming righteous. Disciples are being raised. Churches are being planted. In case you are asking these questions after having watched these impacts of the outreach called Touching Lives at Christmas, you are asking the question, what can I do? What should I do? What does God expect me to do? Beautiful questions. Number one, you can register to participate in the subsequent editions of the outreach Touching Lives at Christmas. Number two, you can make up your mind to invest your resources into this outreach. You can give financially, you can release your vehicle and other materials for the outreach. You can determine to be praying consistently for Touching Lives at Christmas outreach. You can also get involved in the follow-up efforts of the outreach.
You can register now at www.tkpmission.org, www.touchinglivesatchristmas.com. Support TLC outreach and follow-up of the converts. Visit www.tkpmission.org to see the ways you can support. Let no one hear you that there is nothing you can do. Arise and be meaningfully involved in Touching Lives at Christmas. For the night cometh when no man can walk again. No one is exempted.